Yeah.
An 8-foot tall, hideously ugly creation, with translucent yellow skin pulled so taut over the body it could barely disguise the workings of the arteries and muscles underneath. Watery, glowing yellow eyes, flowing black hair, black lips, and prominent white teeth. This is a description of a monster by Mary Shelley. Today we know murderous, unfeeling creatures such as Frankenstein's monster don't exist, right? According to Mickey Pistorius' thesis on Upspace Institutional Repository, in 1996, the number of serial killers are increasing worldwide with the enigma surrounding them: lack of motive. Mental health is something that cannot be seen, heard, or felt, deeming it unimportant to some. This underestimation can lead to cataclysmic damage to those it affects. As mental health is becoming more and more acceptable and treatments are becoming more and more available, it is important that we are educated, not only to protect ourselves, but those that we love. Today, we know creatures such as Frankenstein's monsters do not exist. However, we do have something much worse: mass shooters and serial killers. In this speech, I will inform you of the top 3 most prominent mental illnesses associated with serial killers: schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, and antisocial personality disorder, other known as psychopathy. When speaking about mental illness, depression and anxiety are often the first to come to mind because they are common and simple. However, schizophrenia is pretty complex. Let's begin with schizophrenia. It is described by Erwin I. Gottesman and James Shields in the novel Schizophrenia, published June 30th, 1982, as a giant jigsaw puzzle. And its causes do not have simple origins or explanations. Schizophrenia is caused by a mix of genetic, environmental, and psychological factors. Stress can also have a high impact when episodes are triggered. Finding a combination of these things that lead to the disorder is difficult because the trends tend to come back inconsistent. However, John J. McGrath stated in lectures Myths and Plain Truth About Schizophrenia, Epidemiology, in 2004, that schizophrenia is significantly more prominent in males than females by a median male to female ratio of 1.4. Empathy deficits are a common symptom of schizophrenia. This may or may not include depressive symptoms, says Emily J. Ginger in Psychology Research Volume 3, published May 30th, 2014. She also revealed that those who display depression scored higher on the Reactivity Index Personal Distress Subscale, which measures how they see perspective, how they see fantasy, empathy, and how they handle personal distress. Most people who are considered shy or introverted are typically categorized as weird. It has been seen that everyone will grow out of this because socializing is a part of everyday life. However, some people find it crippling. Secondly, I would like to talk about borderline personality disorder. BPD, as it is sometimes called, is a mental health issue that affects the ability of self-image, moodiness, and impulsive behavior, according to the National Institute of Mental Health, last accessed on June 17, 2019. This disorder is caused by a disconnection in the brain function, in which areas that usually have high function and function together fail to do so, stated by Gene Knox in the Journal of Analytical Psychology, February 2014. Symptoms of this disorder include having some extreme views on mostly everything, something as simple as friendship. One day the friend can be the best, the next day the friend could be the worst, says the National Institute of Mental Health, last accessed June 17. Another example is the inability to hold a stable relationship, either physical or psychological. A distorted self-image is the biggest tell in this disorder. It creates a sense of abandonment, which leads to a feeling of emptiness and contributes to behaviors like threats, recklessness, sexual activity, and violence, reported by the Mayo Clinic at mayoclinic.org, June 25th, 2018. Your conscience is supposed to be the arrow that helps you decipher right from wrong, a moral compass. But what happens when that moral compass is taken away? Antisocial personality is exactly what happens. Lastly, I would like to discuss APD. APD, sometimes called sociopathy and psychopathy, is a disorder where a person has no feelings of right or wrong, and they are also not susceptible to the feelings of those around them, states the Mayo Clinic, mayoclinic.org, August 4th, 2017. This disorder reportedly makes up 1% of the U.S. population and 1% of the U.S. adult population, and of that 1%, 46.1% are receiving treatments, reports the National Institute of Mental Health on MIH.gov, accessed June 17, 2019. The cause of antisocial personality disorder is unknown. However, it's been proven that people with antisocial tendencies and alcoholic parents are at an increased risk. MedicinePlus.MedlinePlus.gov, last updated June 3, 2019. Also, Medline Plus reports that they display a long-term pattern of manipulation, exploitation, and violating others without remorse. States MedlinePlus.gov, last updated June 3, 2019. In conclusion, although Frankenstein's monster had a tragic end, others don't have to suffer that same fate. Today I discussed the top 3 mental illnesses associated with serial killers, their causes, their symptoms, and their tells. I told you about schizophrenia, I told you about borderline personality disorder, and antisocial personality disorder. With this information, I hope everyone here has a better understanding of how important upkeep of mental illness is, what mental health can become, and what to look for. We need to be aware in the future. It's the best way to prevent a catastrophe. Thank you. Woo!